Hey, Eagle fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome to Philadelphia Eagles Now. Gonna have some fun today. We're gonna do a mailbag video, but a specific trade-focused mailbag video. A couple of days ago, I asked you guys, our subscribers by the way, to go down below and give me your best mock trade. Who would you trade away? Who would you trade for if you were GM, how I Roseman right now? We got some interesting ones. Some are a little bit far-fetched. Some make some sense. We're gonna have some fun, go through your guys' trade-specific questions, and I'll see if they make sense and say Philadelphia should do them or not. Again, these are from subscribers, so make sure you guys are subscribed for future mailbag videos like this. Okay, Brian Cardenas, I think is how you say his name, says, this is going to be a long shot. I love Miles Sanders, but I feel like if the Eagles could get a second-round pick in 2023, they could go for Bijan Robinson in the draft. Miles Sanders is great, but too injury-prone. You know, I don't think this is too far-fetched. I think that we need to break this down a little bit. Your far-fetched part here is getting a second-round draft pick in 2023 for Sanders. It's just not possible. Running backs are not worth a second-round draft pick, especially one like Miles Sanders, who, you mentioned yourself, is way too injury-prone. I'm like you. I love Miles Sanders. I think Sanders is a great running back. I think that if he could stay healthy, he'd be a 1,000-yard rusher. He'd be one of the top backs in the National Football League and a real weapon for Philadelphia. But that's the big kicker, if he can stay healthy. He's never been able to stay healthy virtually his entire career, albeit young, but still his entire career. And as you look at the Eagle running back depth chart, I do understand what you're saying as well. Like, we can get rid of Miles Sanders and be okay. I think Gainwell is going to have a very good year, too. They have some interesting options as undrafted free agents, like Kennedy Brooks or Jason Huntley. Obviously, Boston Scott is still there. All of that makes sense, and I'm fine with. And I even like the idea of Bijan Robinson, the running back out of Texas, who's going to be the top running back taken in the 2023 NFL Draft. I don't think he's going to go in the first round, probably second round for Bijan, because that's what happens with running backs nowadays in the NFL Draft. It all makes sense, but the one thing that I don't agree with is getting a second round draft pick for Miles Sanders. If you wanted to put a number on it, I think you could get a fourth or a fifth round draft pick for Miles Sanders, just because running backs, they're not that in terms of expensive or asset heavy in the modern National Football League when you can draft somebody in round 5 and he can start at running back for the next 4 years. So I like the idea. I think Bijan Robinson's going to be a beast as long as he finishes out his career at Texas strong at this season. But the odds of him, the odds of the Eagles getting a second round draft pick for Sanders is just not possible. Hence why I wouldn't trade Sanders right now. Okay, first question. Are the Eagles done making moves this offseason, right? The odds of them actually making a big-time trade are very, very slim, and I always try to preface that. I know we talk about some wild stuff here on the channel, wild news, wild rumors, but I always want to preface, the odds of it actually happening. And the odds of these trades happening are slim, but they're fun to go through, and, like I mentioned, maybe it's possible, maybe it's not. We'll break it all down a little bit later on, obviously, with each trade. But are the Eagles done making moves this offseason? If they are, type Y down below for yes. If they are not, type N down below for no. Okay, Nonstop Football says, trade Miles Sanders and 2 firsts for Jonathan Taylor. This would make me happy. It would not make me happy, as this comes from Nonstop Football. First off, Indy would never trade away Jonathan Taylor. Let's be very, very clear. Indianapolis' whole offensive scheme is run through Jonathan Taylor. The guy could have almost been NFL MVP last year. He's easily the best running back in the National Football League. They have a great O-line, a great run-game scheme. Like, Frank Reich has everything that they need to be a successful running football team. Now you bring in Matt Ryan to the Indianapolis Colts, and they're not going to, I'd say, be as throw-heavy. I'm still a Matt Ryan fan. I think he's a good quarterback, but they're going to try to run the football first and then play action and find their receivers on the outside down the football field. That's the whole scheme. So getting rid of Jonathan Taylor would essentially ruin that. So 1, the Colts aren't going to trade away Jonathan Taylor, and 2, Philadelphia should not trade 2 first-round draft picks for a running back. I mean, have we learned nothing from Ezekiel Elliott? The Dallas Cowboys have given us a perfect example of what happens when you overpay for a running back. When I say overpay, I mean you spent too high of a draft pick, and then you gave him a massive contract. Aren't they paying him $14 million a year right now to go ahead and be the Dallas Cowboys' second running back behind Tony Pollard? I mean, you get maybe 3 good years out of a young running back. 3. I mean, the odds of you needing to go ahead and sign a running back to a second-year deal are very, very slim. I mean, there are very few running backs that would actually sign to a second-year contract just because we'll ride around and get a good one in the draft. I mean, look what the Denver Broncos have done. Denver at once, was big Philip Lindsay people. They had a stable of running backs, and they come back and draft, is it Javon Williams? Yeah, it's Javon Williams, and he's on a rookie deal, and he's their best running back. There's no need to overpay so much for a running back, especially 2 first-round draft picks for Jonathan Taylor. It'll never happen. Taylor's a beast. He's the best running back in the league, but it's just not going to happen. Let me ask you guys this. I don't think you need an elite number 1 back in the modern NFL these days. I think you can have a good running back or a great running back, but an elite number 1, massive contract, first-round draft pick running back, not that necessary. Do you need one? I think that you do need one in the modern NFL. Type 1 down below for yes. If you do not, type 0 down below for no. Okay, before we go ahead and get into Robert Jones's Andre Dillard mock trade, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. I think the Eagles are the best team in the NFC East. If you guys agree, then put your money where your mouth is and subscribe to this channel. Also, turn on the notification bell, because anyone who has the notification bell turned on has a chance to get a shout out in a future video. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to give shout outs to people who have the notifications turned on, and also who like the, comment and like the video. The first 50 people to comment and like the video will go ahead and get a possible shout out in a future video. That's where the shout outs are going to come from. So make sure you click the notification bell, like and comment on this video. Producer Trace always pulls some people to go ahead and give shout outs for, and we're going to give some later on this week. So again, subscribe, because we have plenty of great content coming up in the next couple of days and weeks. Okay, Robert Jones says, trade Dillard in a 4th for Jessie Bates, as long as we can sign him to a long-term deal. I don't hate this idea. I want to break this down for you guys here in just a second, but I think that Dillard, as we'll see, is kind of a focus that a lot of people have. At least the next question as well talks about Andre Dillard. I think he's the most likely trade candidate for Philadelphia, and I'll explain why here in just 1 second. First, the 2-pack t-shirt combo is still available. I don't know how, but it is. It is 40% off, which is a great, great price for the 2 t-shirts you see on your screen right now. Go to chatsports.com/Eagles t-shirt. That link is down below me right now in the description box as well to pick up these 2 t-shirts, again, for 40% off. And right now, I looked this morning, and the sizes are still there. Now, that's going to change as they run out of stock, but the sizes are there right now. Pick up your Eagles gear. Link down below in the description box, or also on their screen right now. Chatsports.com/Eagles t-shirt is the way to go. As I mentioned, Dillard is the most likely trade prospect. He's the guy who is a starter caliber left tackle who's not a starter right now, because the Eagles have a great left tackle in Jordan Mailata. And I think as you look at the overall offensive line, I'm fine with trading Andre Dillard. Like I've said before, I don't mind keeping him, and I don't. I think it's good to have depth. And especially if Mailata were to go down, you got Dillard, no worries. I mean, this offense still rolls. But you just don't need Andre Dillard on this roster. And I honestly would like Andre Dillard to go a chance to start somewhere else. And so trading him to a team like the Bengals and getting Jessie Bates would make a ton of sense in my opinion. We talked about this in the past. Bates and the Bengals still are at odds. They still are kind of in this, standoff where, Bates wants a new contract, but the Bengals want him to sign a franchise tag. They want him to spend a long-term deal, and back and forth. I think the Jessie Bates stuff died when she signed Jaquiski Tartt. I think that they probably realized that Bates on a new deal is way too expensive. But in terms of a Dillard and a 4th for Jessie Bates, I would do that in an absolute heartbeat, because it would not be too expensive, and it would 100% give the Eagles a much improved weapon on the backside of this defense, which is the worst part of the defense, right? Which is a small part. But Anthony Harris and Tartar Epps is just, okay, it's not bad, but it's not as good as what Bates would be in there. But the odds of Bates being traded now, I think, continue to be slim. I wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't show up for training camp. I think eventually he loses that holdout and signs his franchise tag. Drop a like down below if you guys still want Jessie Bates. I know a lot of us do, and again, I still do, but the odds of it happening are a little slim. If you still want Bates, give me a like down below in the comments section. Okay, Christine, I'm not going to try to pronounce your last name, but we'll say Christine, sorry, says, Seahawks get Andre Dillard, 2023 first-round pick. Eagles get DK Metcalf. That's a lot to give up for DK Metcalf, a first and a starting left tackle. I think Seattle would do that deal if Philadelphia wanted to, but that is a lot. My big thing with Metcalf is, do the Eagles need him? Like, do the Eagles really need DK Metcalf? Metcalf is great, but I don't want to take away snaps from Devontae Smith. I think Devontae Smith can be a better receiver overall than DK Metcalf, and that's nothing against Metcalf. He's fantastic. That's how big I am on Devontae Smith. I got his jersey hanging up, I always say, right behind you. I wear it on the show sometimes. I think he's going to be an absolute beast, and if you put Metcalf into this offense, who's losing snaps or who's losing reps? Is it A.J. Brown? Is it Devontae Smith? Right? Do you play them all on the same field at one time? I don't know. I just think it's a little bit too much for me and not something that I would be willing to do. I think Metcalf is a great player. Had you not traded for A.J. Brown, I would love to go ahead and get him. I think Philadelphia tried to get him before they got A.J. Brown, or at least when they were trying to get A.J. Brown, they made a call to Seattle. Would not surprise me, but I would much rather not get DK Metcalf and just give a ton of reps to second-year Devontae Smith, because I think he's going to be an absolute monster. Okay, one more. Let's go. Ethan Y says, Reagor for Marlon Mack. No, I don't. Okay, this one's tough, because Marlon Mack, when you think of him, you think of a really good running back, because Marlon Mack has been a good running back throughout his career. The problem with Marlon Mack, he's essentially just Miles Sanders. Like, a little less shiftier, a little more physical in terms of, running up the A-gap, but he's essentially Miles Sanders in the fact that the guy can't stay healthy, and that's Miles Sanders' big issue. So why would you want two, unhealthy running backs in your backfield, right? I mean, look at Marlon Mack's games played over the past 4 years. 6 in 2021, 20 in 2020, or sorry, 1 in 2020, 14 in 2019, 12 in 2018. The guy's never played a full season. I mean, it's just not enough for me to go and give up Jalen Reagor, and I'm fine with trading Reagor away. You guys know that, but for Marlon Mack, it just doesn't make a lot of sense, and so I'm probably out on that one. Again, I don't want to Debbie down y'all's trade stuff. I thought there was some good stuff here. I think it makes sense. The Jessie Bates one was my favorite, but the odds of trading for Marlon Mack, I think, doesn't make a lot of sense for me. That's why we do a mailbag like this, so I can either squash your hopes and dreams of a trade or say that it's actually possible. So we'll end on this. Which of these trades would you do? Out of all the ones that I mentioned earlier, would you want to trade away Brown for Bates? Would you want to trade, Andre Dillard for Bates, or Andre Dillard for DK Metcalf, or Marlon Mack for Jalen Reagor? Like, which of these trades do you guys want to do? Answer down below right now. Okay, as we end, of course, use the hashtag Eagles in the comment section for a mailbag video taking place on Saturday. So get those questions in now because it's a quick week. It's already Wednesday here on June 6th. So get your questions in right now. Must be a subscriber to do that. And, of course, follow me on Twitter. With 6 more followers on my Twitter account, @RealThomasMott. It's my official Twitter account. And if you guys want to give me a follow or DM me, ask me questions, that is the place to do it. Okay, ultimate today on our Philadelphia Eagles trade rumor mailbag video. I'm Thomas Mott, signing off for the rest of your day.